Most people who think they are prepared for a food emergency are not. They have food, but they have stored it wrong, chosen it wrong, or planned around it in a way that will get them into serious trouble inside the first week. A pantry full of the wrong items or the right items stored badly is not a safety net. It is a false sense of security with an expiration date. Tonight we are going through 12 specific stockpile mistakes that most people make without realizing it. Some of these are about what you bought, some are about where you put it, all of them matter. Subscribe now so you never miss a video like this, and stay for number 10. It is the mistake I see even experienced preppers make, and it has nothing to do with the food itself. 1. Storing only white rice and canned beans and calling it done. Rice and beans are solid, calorie-dense, shelf-stable, affordable, but if that is the entire plan, you will face a crisis inside 3 days. Not a food crisis, a cooking crisis. White rice requires 20 minutes of sustained boiling. That means fuel, a lot of it. In a grid-down situation, your fuel supply runs out long before your rice does. You have stored calories you cannot access. Pair every grain or legume in your stockpile with a realistic fuel plan. A propane camp stove with 2 spare canisters. A rocket stove that burns scrap wood. Something. Calories on a shelf are not the same as calories in your body. The delivery system matters as much as the supply. 2. Ignoring caloric density and storing high-volume, low-calorie food. A cabinet full of canned tomatoes, broth, and vegetable soup looks impressive. It is not. Under stress, an adult burns significantly more calories than normal. Manual labor, disrupted sleep, elevated anxiety. You need somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 calories per day to function. A can of broth has about 30. Before you store another item, check the calorie count on the label. Prioritize calorie-dense foods: peanut butter, olive oil, full-fat coconut milk, nuts. Hard cheeses that can be waxed, dried whole milk. These are the items that actually sustain you. Filler foods give you a false sense of abundance. You want energy per cubic inch, not volume. 3. Not rotating stock and letting expiration dates silently pass. This one wipes out entire pantries. People buy, stack, and forget. 2 years later, half of what they stored is past its best-by date, degraded in nutritional value, or outright unsafe. They do not discover this until the moment they actually need it. Rotation is the discipline that makes a stockpile real. New items go to the back. Oldest items come to the front and get used in regular cooking. This is called first in, first out. It costs nothing and takes 30 seconds every time you restock. If your emergency pantry contains items you have never cooked with and would not normally eat, that is a red flag. Store what you eat what you store. 4. Storing food in a location that degrades it faster than its label suggests. Heat is the silent killer of long-term food storage. The standard shelf life numbers printed on packaging assume storage at around 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit in a dry, dark environment. Your garage in summer does not qualify. Neither does a cabinet above your stove or a closet on an exterior wall in a hot climate. Every 10-degree increase in storage temperature roughly cuts shelf life in half. That can turn a 5-year shelf life into 2 years without you noticing any visible change. Find the coolest, darkest, most stable temperature location in your home, a basement if you have one, an interior closet on a lower floor. Keep food off concrete floors where moisture transfers. Environment is not optional, it is part of the storage strategy. 5. Buying items that require water you will not have. Freeze-dried food is marketed heavily in preparedness communities. Some of it is genuinely useful, but the majority of freeze-dried and dehydrated meal pouches require significant amounts of clean water to rehydrate. In the exact scenario where you are relying on your food stockpile, clean water is likely your most constrained resource. Read every label before you buy. Know the water requirement per serving. Balance your stockpile toward items that are ready to eat directly from the container. Canned fish, nut butters, ready-to-eat crackers, whole nuts, jerky, these require nothing except opening. They are your unconditional calories. Freeze-dried meals are a supplement, not a foundation. 6. No manual can opener in the house. This sounds too simple to include. I am including it because it is genuinely one of the most common failure points I hear about. People store dozens of cans and own exactly one electric can opener mounted under the cabinet. Power goes out and they are done. A manual can opener costs $3. Buy 2, keep one in the kitchen, one in the go bag, test them. Some cheap models strip on the first can of anything larger than a standard size. Spend $8 and get one that actually works. This is the lowest cost, highest consequence item on this entire list. 7. Forgetting cooking oil and salt entirely. These 2 items are almost never mentioned in preparedness content and are almost universally missing from first-time stockpiles. Cooking oil is how you make calorie-dense food palatable over days and weeks. It adds fat, which is essential for cognitive function and sustained energy. Salt is how you make anything edible long-term and also plays a role in hydration and electrolyte balance. Both have extremely long shelf lives when stored correctly. Refined coconut oil keeps for 2 or more years. Salt keeps indefinitely. Store more than you think you need. In a sustained emergency, meals without fat or seasoning cause appetite fatigue faster than almost anything else. People stop eating before they run out of food because the food becomes psychologically impossible to continue consuming. Fat and salt prevent that. 8. Relying on a chest freezer as primary storage. A full chest freezer is not a stockpile. It is a gamble. It requires constant power. It requires that nothing goes wrong with the appliance. And in a grid-down scenario longer than 24 to 48 hours, every calorie in it is either consumed immediately, preserved through some other means, or lost. Frozen food is a supplement to shelf-stable storage, not a replacement for it. If the majority of your emergency food planning involves a freezer, you do not have a plan. You have dinner for the first night. 9. Storing food without storing the knowledge to use it. Here is the one most people miss. They have a 50-pound bag of whole wheat berries and no grain mill. They have dried lentils but have never cooked them and do not know timing or ratios. They have powdered eggs but have never tested them in a recipe and do not know the substitution amounts. Unfamiliar food under stress leads to waste, frustration, and dangerous caloric deficits. Cook from your stockpile before you need it. This weekend, make one meal entirely from your emergency food stores. Use the canned goods, the dried grains, the preserved proteins. Find out what works and what you cannot tolerate. The knowledge is part of the preparation. Without it, the supplies are just inventory. 10. No comfort food, no morale, no sustainability. Survival nutrition and psychological sustainability are not the same problem, but they become the same problem after about 72 hours. Studies of civilian populations in prolonged crisis, from Sarajevo to post-Katrina New Orleans, consistently document that access to familiar comfort food had a measurable effect on morale, cooperation, and psychological stability. Store a small amount of something that has zero survival value and total psychological value. Coffee, chocolate, hard candy, instant hot cocoa. These items cost almost nothing, weigh almost nothing, and do a disproportionate amount of work when everything else is hard. A pantry that looks prepared and a pantry that actually functions under pressure are two completely different things. The difference is not how much you bought, it is how thoughtfully you built it. Go check your setup tonight against this list, one item at a time. Find the gap and close it before the gap finds you. Drop a comment below. Tell me which number hit closest to home. I read every one of them. Subscribe if this channel is giving you something your feed was missing. And the next video is one I have been getting requests for since this channel started. Water storage, filtration, and what actually works when the tap runs dry. That one is coming soon. Do not miss it.